Good morning, traders. How are we doing today? I hope everybody's doing well. My name is Jason Krutzky. It is a pleasure to be here with you this Wednesday morning. Markets are getting hit a little bit. Started out looking pretty good on the open, but then got hit a little bit. How are you guys doing today? There are a few of you here. And this is office hours. So if you've never attended an office hours before, I have no agenda. I have nothing specific that I want to show you guys. I'm here to answer your questions about TrendSpider. So with that said, what's up, Jamel? Hello from New Orleans. Hello, Jamel from Colorado. How's New Orleans looking today? Please say hello. Let me know who you are, where you're tuning in from. What's up, Faisal? How are you today? From London. How's London looking? Rainy? Foggy? Cloudy? Or do you guys have a sunny day today? Hope everybody's doing good. Hope you guys came with some questions for me, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to get your TrendSpider questions answered. So hit me with what you got, guys. Hit me with what you got. Are you curious about how to scan for particular conditions that you are looking for? Are you curious about how to utilize the strategy tester? Are you curious about, I don't know, what are you curious about? How can I help you this morning? Very cloudy, gray, and cold. Yeah, I mean, that was my experience when I was there as well. Seems like the way it is there. Nels from NYC. You don't have to tell me where you are, because your name says it all. AI and Tesla. Yeah, that's where your head's at this morning. Let's take a look at these guys. I haven't taken a look at AI in quite a while. Looks like I have a few things drawn here. I'm going to turn off all my indicators. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, definitely getting tight here, huh? Curious if chart patterns will identify that little triangle thing going on. No, maybe on a smaller time frame, perhaps. Yeah, there it is. Earnings coming up on AI. Let's see. Ah, I see. So like today, huh? What does history say? All right, so not much data. Obviously, this name hasn't been around very long. Let's see if there's anything going on that we can point to. Nothing there on the insiders. Let's see. AI. So I'm utilizing the assistant here. I don't know if anybody's played around with the assistant. Utilizing the assistant to go ahead and show me everything that's going on with unusual options for this bad boy. What day is today? Is today the 6th? Yeah, today's the 6th. So not much on the unusual option side coming in. Just 2 big orders today. But they're not even that big. Wild card. Well, best of luck to you, Nels, with earnings. If you wanted to, you could do this. Go into the strategy tester just to see earnings dates are today, and then like number of candles passed as your exit. This is kind of fun to do. So this gives you a, post earnings, what tends to happen 10 days post earnings. Kind of a fun one. But this, obviously this name hasn't been around very long, so not a ton of data here, just 3 years worth of data. 11 positions, your win rate 10 days out is 36%. Lots of ugliness here on the tabular data. Sure would like to see, though, what happened, I guess, back in June of this year. Big move 10 days after earnings. 27.5% higher. Yeah, just like you say, not enough data. But it's still kind of interesting to be able to see, last earnings 10 days out, you were down 11%. Looks like it's pretty mixed. 4 of these are winning trades and 5 of them are losing trades. No real information to glean there, but something you can do. Could you explain a bit more on the 65-minute candle and the bottom of the hour? Curious to say how the difference is between this and the 1-hour candle, how we should understand. So 65-minute candle, the idea there is that there are 6.5 hours in the day in a normal trading day. So the hourly candle doesn't break down evenly across that 6.5 hours, but the 65-minute candle breaks down evenly across the 6.5 hours in a normal trading day. That's really all it is. What's up? Why not? How we doing? You're the man. Yeah, that's really the idea there. This is a concept from, well, probably from some other traders too, but from Brian Shannon in particular. How the 65-minute is different than the 60-minute is probably going to vary across strategies. So I would say utilize, if you want to know kind of how it works relative to the hourly, I would just switch those time frames in the strategy tester for whatever it is you're testing. Got itchy nose this morning. Curious to see how the differences between this 1-hour candle. I should understand react. Yeah, I mean, that's really the big, excuse me, the big difference. Your hourly candle is going to start at, what, 7:30, right? Or 9:30, whatever time it is. The market opens 9:30 Eastern, so your hourly candle is going to start on the open. Your 65-minute will start there too, but you'll have six even candles. I never really used the 65-minute. Not to say that you shouldn't. Nothing wrong with it. Just I've never really used it myself personally. Yeah, AI seems like this is a pretty big crapshoot. Are there any analysts saying anything about this? Oppenheimer upgraded on the 21st. I don't personally pay too much attention to any one analyst. Just kind of trying to get a general sense of things. If you've got upgrades or downgrades or anything like that coming in. Just another way of kind of deciding. But it does look like it's all about this earnings report, huh? Earnings report's gonna be the straw that breaks this triangle camel's back, as they say. Ricardo, sure. Type in the pair, and you're off to the races. And this is gonna work. All the tools on the platform are gonna work here. You got a strategy you want to test on your Forex. Put it in there and run it and see how you go. I'm not personally a Forex trader. I can't speak to, and I don't spend a ton of, honestly, I don't spend a ton of time thinking about strategies for Forex. So I can't guide you there, but yeah, everything you'd want to do on this. What are you trying to understand, Ricardo? Like, give me an example. While we're waiting for Ricardo's example, thank you for tuning in. If you have not introduced yourself, please introduce yourself. Say hello. Let us know where you're tuning in from, what brings you here. If you are a TrendSpider trader, let me know. If you're not a TrendSpider trader, if you do not currently have an account with us, I want to know. I want to know because I want to know why you're here. And why, if you don't yet have a TrendSpider account, you're probably here to learn a little bit more. So you are very important to me. I want to know what you want to know about, what you want to learn about. NASDAQ works for me as well, or gold. Understand how it works. I'm still a little confused, Ricardo. Okay, Ricardo, so you're not You do not have a TrendSpider account. Got it. Okay. Yeah, so it's, you know, everything that you can do to analyze your stock charts, your NASDAQ, your gold, all that stuff, you're going to be able to utilize TrendSpider for Forex as well. Now, if you're trying to understand like how to trade Forex, I'm not the guy, unfortunately. But we can use the tools to understand, you know, I mean, price action is price action, right? IWM TNA, how is that looking? Are you talking about like straight up IWM divided by TNA? Or are you talking about, Jamel, TrendSpider is a desktop platform, but we do have a mobile app, and we are going to be launching a new version of the mobile app quite soon. Any market is good. If it works on futures, for me is the same. Oh, IWM only. Got it. Okay, so Ricardo, you're trying to get an understanding, like a basic understanding of everything TrendSpider can do. Is that kind of what I'm getting from you? You just want to know what's up, what TrendSpider is capable of? Systems Pro, there are some pre-made strategies. We share strategies as well in our Discord group. Not only I share strategies, but our users share strategies as well, other TrendSpider traders. As far as which one works the best, I have no idea. I truly have no idea. In order to know which one works the best, you'd have to test every single strategy on every single time frame on every single asset. I do not know. I just know some strategies that work pretty darn good. There isn't we do not keep track of like the absolute best performing strategy on any name at any time. That is a little outside of the purview. So Ricardo, let's take five minutes and very, very quickly glance over the entire platform for Ricardo here. If anybody is not yet a TrendSpider trader, you do not have a TrendSpider account, this could be beneficial for you. So TrendSpider seeks to kind of cover the four major things that traders do all the time, right? Traders do four big things. We analyze charts with trend lines and indicators and fibs and all that sort of stuff. So we do our on-chart analysis. We back test strategies to make sure that those strategies work and to find alpha. We scan for opportunities, and we place alerts. We get ourselves set up for success by finding setups that work, by hunting for those setups occurring in real time, by setting alerts for setups on our favorite names that we like to trade. Those are the kind of the big four, right? When it comes to technical analysis. So TrendSpider kind of tries to cover all of those bases and more. At the top here, these are all of our auto analysis tools. So auto analysis tools are tools that automatically paint things on the chart for you. The purpose of these tools is to remove bias. You know, personal bias is an issue for many of us. We see what we want to see, and sometimes what we want to see is not exactly what the chart is saying. So the auto analysis tools help us remove those biases, automatically drawing fibs on the chart, automatically drawing trend lines on the chart, automatically drawing chart patterns on the chart, whatever chart pattern you might be interested, from broadening patterns to channels, head and shoulders, inverse, head and shoulders, double top, double bottom, triangles, wedges, and so on. You can scan for these patterns as well. We'll get into that in just a bit. We can automatically identify candlestick patterns. Tons of different candlestick patterns available here. The strat patterns, all of the candlestick patterns that you've come to know and love. They're all automatically identifiable on the platform. And again, because they're automatically identifiable on the platform, you can strategy test them. You can scan for them, that sort of stuff. Heat maps are another auto analysis tool. Automatically identify horizontal levels of support and resistance. There are some other heat maps here. We won't go into depth there. On the right-hand side, Another thing that we as traders do, we're utilizing extraneous data, fundamental data, to understand kind of more about the stock that we're interested in trading. So on the right hand side, you've got some of that fundamental data stuff. You've got a news feed here. This is Benzinga news feed, analyst estimates. Oops, you know what? Let me go to just a ticker that is not a composite. We'll go back to AI just for the heck of it. So again, news feed, analyst estimate information. You've got seasonality here. Seasonality is a really cool one. Lots of different little ways that you can utilize seasonality to understand how does a stock tend to perform right now or in January or at, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You can break it down by month, by week, by day, by hour. Lots of little bits of alpha that you can glean from seasonality. You've got insiders. Again, this is not going to be available on SPY. Let's just go to a different name here, Tesla. So you can keep track of what insiders are doing. Unusual options is another one. This one is pretty powerful. The most recent 250 unusual options orders that have come across the tape. Unusual options are anything over $25,000 in premium. So this is your kind of extra data that isn't technical. It's, kind of more fundamental, and we are actually going to be adding quite a bit more fundamental data to the platform here very soon as well. Now, on the bottom of the chart are these kind of bigger tools. You've got your market scanner. We got tons of shared scans that you can utilize. This thing can hunt for all kinds of different stuff, from price conditions, indicator conditions, candle pattern conditions, chart patterns, earnings information, dividends, splits, news, analyst estimates, and more. Up to 4 different time frames per scan. You can really kind of get wild here with what you're looking for out there in the markets. You got a strategy tester. This allows you to test strategies and see how they perform over time. Lots of different ways that you can kind of utilize this. We could go into depth in it. I could spend an hour talking about the strategy tester, so I don't want to spend too much time here, but this thing is built to help you really fully understand what's going on with your strategy at any given time. And we'll kind of leave it at that. Somebody had asked about trading bots. You can turn your strategies directly into trading bots with just a couple of clicks. You would need to set up an account with some sort of order routing service. We have one called Signal Stack. There are others, and you essentially grab your webhook from your order routing service, plug it in here, and create the bot, and you're off to the races for that. So very quick and easy, turning your strategy into live trading bots. You can use it just as forward testing. These signals will never expire, or you can actually send the signal to your broker. So pretty powerful there. We've got a custom indicator editor, meaning if you write JavaScript code, you can create your own custom scripts here. I had one up on my chart just a little while ago, one for full time frame continuity. We've got the assistant. The assistant is kind of your way to navigate the platform in a simple way. This is powered by ChatGPT, and you could do all kinds of different things. You can add indicators to your chart here. Type in the indicator you want to add. It's going to give you all those different options. Click on it, and the indicator's on your chart. You can, let me go back. You can say, Tesla unusual options. Right? You could type all kinds of things in here, and it's going to yield the thing that you're looking for. So see all unusual options for Tesla. That's going to open up my what's happening now panel, and I'm going to be able to see all those unusual options in order. I can even do things like test MACD cross. And it's going to go ahead and send me at this one, all of the strategy tests take a moment to load, but test MACD cross strategy for the current symbol. Click on that. It preloads the MACD cross up and the MACD cross down in your entry and your exit in your strategy tester, and it runs that test for you automatically. Now, everything on the platform is built off of what we call visual scripts. And this little panel right here, this button, visual scripts, contains something like 800 or 700, quite a few different pre-built scripts, right? So type in something, type in Bollinger Bands, and it's going to yield a bunch of pre-built scripts for different Bollinger Band conditions. Bollinger Band high breakout, Bollinger Band low breakdown, Bollinger Band any touch, Bollinger Band tightening, Bollinger Band widening, and so on and so forth. You can click one of these, so we'll say tightening. There's the definition of tightening. There are the conditions that define the Bollinger Bands are tightening. I can take this, I can send it all across the platform. I can create an alert out of this. I can send it to my strategy tester as entry conditions or as exit conditions. I can send it to my scanner and hunt for these conditions occurring in real time. Lots of different things you can do on the platform. I'm going to stop there, and that's where we're at. How about that? If you have specific questions about any of those items, let me know. I'm happy to talk through them at more depth. My music has stopped. I'm going to turn it back on. There it goes. Titan, are we doing office hours every Wednesday? I'm thinking that we might do office hours like every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, actually, is kind of where my head's at. I'm not certain that it's going to go that way, but that's kind of how it's feeling for now. So let me see. All right. So Chewy, you wanted to learn more about implementing trading bots. So literally, I'm just going to go to Signal Stack here and log in. Skip this. So I can grab my webhook. We'll just we'll create a webhook real quick. And now this is a bunk account, so don't go trying to steal my information because it doesn't exist anymore. But what we could do here is I just create a webhook. I copy that webhook signal there. I go back into my TrendSpider account. I load up the strategy that I want to implement. I go to launch as trading bot. And then in webhook, I can paste this. You see how it says buy quantity, sell quantity. So then I would just define how many shares of Apple I want to buy based off of this strategy, whatever that may be. I say create bot. And literally that's it. Over here on the right-hand side, I can add the bot to, I can add a trading bot widget over here so I can kind of like monitor my trading bots as they're live. I can edit them in here. I can turn them off in here. But yeah, so now this bot is live, and the next time an entry condition hits, then I would get a signal to my broker. My broker would buy 1 share of Apple in this case, because that's what I had defined. It's literally, it's that simple. Yeah, so Ricardo, assistant is if you end up getting an account with us, the assistant is going to be your best friend for the first bit of time that you're using the platform. Just because, like I said, you can type things in here that you're looking for and it'll kick back the stuff that you're after. Whatever that stuff may be. Now, you will want to play around with it a little bit. Yeah, so SDW just makes a good point. You don't have to just use the bots to actually trigger orders in your broker. If you have a Discord or you have some sort of place where you share your signals with folks, you can send to those places. Anywhere that will accept a webhook, think Discord and these sorts of things. Anywhere that'll accept a webhook, you can send your buy and sell signals to it. But yeah, so Ricardo, assistant's going to be your best friend for a short time as you're kind of coming to know the platform. There's also, let me see here. These guys, the TrendSpider University videos, there's a ton of them to kind of help you get acclimated to the platform and figure out where things are. This is a place that you might find yourself as well. Another thing that we do not spend a ton of time talking about, but I always like to mention because I think it's very helpful. I'm going to remove myself here so you guys can see it clearly. Down here, this contact us button. This is a direct feed into our employee chat room. We have live product expert employees in chat every single day, Monday through Sunday. These guys are always around, pretty much. Like, I think it's like 20 hours Monday through Friday, and then 8 hours a day on Saturday and Sunday. So you can ping them and ask them questions. How do I create? I want to define X, Y, and Z for a scan. Can you help me build it? Can you tell me what I need to do to build it? Those sorts of questions. I mean, all kinds of questions you guys can ask these guys. If you have a platform related question and I'm not around or I'm not live, hit these guys up because they're around. It's free and you can utilize it anytime you want. Interested in learning more, all the capabilities of the assistant in the future. Yeah, so honestly, why not? Man, start playing around with it because like I said, you can do lots, you know? It's more so about just how you prompt it, what you say to it that you want to do. So it gives you some examples here. Triangle break alert, pullback after rally, PLTR news, all upcoming earnings. You could also click on see all examples. And again, this is not everything it can do. This is just different ideas. These are ways to spur your this is a way to spur your creativity when utilizing this tool. I don't even know all of the different things it can do, but it's built off of these visual scripts. In many ways, it's built off of these visual scripts. So if there is a visual script for something, and again, like I said, type in something, type in an indicator, type in, I don't know, triangle. So here we go. Let's do something like this. Let's say symmetrical triangle breakup, right? It pre-builds the scan for you, or it pre-builds the conditions of a symmetrical triangle breakup. And then I can take this and I can send it places. So I'll send it to my scanner. And now it loads those conditions into my scanner. Next thing I got to do, define where I want to find the triangle breakup. So I'm going to search the S&P 500 index. I'm going to turn the current candle toggle on so that we're finding this happening now. And we'll run the scan, see what we can find. I don't know if we're going to find anything. COO. So let me switch it to the daily here. I'm going to turn on my chart patterns and specifically just the ascending, or rather the symmetrical triangle. Let me turn everything off except for symmetrical triangle. So here's your symmetrical triangle. I'm going to turn off my indicators just so you can only see the pattern. Symmetrical triangle, and we're breaking up and out of that symmetrical triangle. Is it a very strong break? No. But are we breaking out of it? Yes. Here's another example. Here's another example. And so on. So like if you can think through stuff, the platform can kind of get you there in just a couple of clicks. Can it file your taxes? Well, that depends, SDW. That depends. What account do you have with us? If you have the secret account, the employee only account. It can't file taxes yet, but hit up Dan and ask him if we can add that. That would be pretty dope. Yeah, I agree. Faisal, hopefully I'm saying that right. I think that this is a very undersold component of the platform. You're not on TradingView chatting with product experts. You know, like you don't have that capability. Helping you, those guys are not helping you, you know, understand how to do things on the platform. I don't know of any trading software or any technical analysis software that offers free customer support pretty much 24 hours a day, pretty much 7 days a week. There you go. See, why not? So System Pro 123. So you recently signed up for TrendSpider. Thank you for doing so. Stoked to have you. What are you curious in knowing more about? What can I kind of like What do you want to spend a little time on? Is there anything in particular you want to spend a little time on? Also, Ricardo, if you are not yet a TrendSpider user, here, do this. Ricardo, if you're on Twitter, hit me up on Twitter. And I can get you a pretty decent little discount. It's not as good as the Black Friday sale that we just closed down the other day, but it's pretty good. I'll be happy to hook you up. Yeah, shoot me a follow, and I'll send you a link. You don't have to use it, you know, no pressure, but, you know, want to help where I can. What else, guys? What can I do? How can I, anything in particular that you want to spend some time on? My music keeps stopping. I don't know why. Let's do this. Hold on. All right, we're back. We should be good for a while now. You'd like to use the break of structure. Oh, Greg. Let's talk about this. Now you're speaking my language, homie. All right, so break of structure. The way that I would be looking for this is I would be using zigzag. If you go into your scanner and you type in market structure in your search bar of your scanner, you're going to see 6 scans. These guys right here. Beginning of uptrend reversal, simple downtrend bounce, simple downtrend new low, simple uptrend new high, simple uptrend pullback. These bad boys are going to be your friend, Greg. Now, first of all, let me send you something real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm just searching for a video real quick. And the reason why I want to give you a video, you may have already watched it. If you did, then I'm sorry for giving you something that you've already seen. But before we talk about these, I want you to have access to the video where I explain them. Because in the video, I go over in detail kind of how each of these works. But what you're looking for is you're looking for these two, the beginning of downtrend reversal and the beginning of uptrend reversal. They specifically define breaks of structure. I'll show you. So let's see what's going on here. And the way that they do it, they utilize an indicator called zigzag. So let me throw the zigzag indicator up. And then I'm going to turn the levels on my zigzag indicator. So what this is looking for, when you say break of structure, a break of structure means you're taking out the pivot that took you up. Like you're potentially changing trend. So you have this B pivot here, or actually I guess they would call this C. Let me change the color. Hold on 1 second. I want to make sure that we can all see this. There we go. All right, so you've got pivot A, pivot B, pivot C, pivot D, and pivot E. All right, so what makes this a break of structure is that you have lost pivot C, broken down below pivot C. There's your break of structure. It actually broke down below pivot E as well. So this is like multiple pivots that you've now taken out. So we've broken structure and then we're retesting a previous pivot. So this is kind of like a head and shoulders pattern. It's kind of an odd looking head and shoulders pattern, but it technically is a head and shoulders pattern. This is what you're after. So this is your break of structure to the downside. Now, keep in mind, though, this is specifically looking for the bounce back. We're looking for a break of structure and then a bounce back, a retest. The same is going to be true on your beginning of downtrend reversal scan. So I'm going to run this real quick, see what we find. So same idea. Here's your pivot that we needed to take out to break structure, right? So we made a new high relative to this pivot. So we've broken the structure. This isn't quite as clean as I would personally like to see. You could, in theory, you could take these conditions and define them slightly more specifically. Well, don't send it to TrendSpider. Ricardo, send it to me, brother. Just follow me. That's all you got to do. Just follow me. I should be able to. I should be. Are you Mr. Watanabe? Is that you? Watanabe trader? Is that you, Ricardo? If so, I got you. Yeah, okay, great, cool. Give me 1 second. I'm going to hook you up. Here you go. If you do end up signing up, use this link. There you go. Just sent it to your DMs. We're good to go. I'm going to, let's see if we can find a better example. Oops. We could always try different time frames. Yeah, that's another option too. But I just want to see if I can find a bit cleaner of an example. Everybody's got slightly different things that they're looking for when it comes to market structure breaks. Now, I understand a market structure break is a very specific thing. This one is probably not. Yeah, okay, I had a feeling. That would not be what I was after. All right, let's see here. Let's just take this down to a smaller time frame, see if we can find some better stuff. If you click on, if you're scanning or if you're building a strategy, if you're utilizing these conditions in any way, shape, or form in any of the tools that utilize conditions, click on the 3 dots in the corner. If you're only using one time frames, or if you're only using one time frame for your scan or whatever, you can switch all time frames at once in that 3 dot little by clicking on this. I can't click on it right now because the scan is currently running, but that's how I switched all the time frames kind of instantly. Excuse me, gosh. Well, darn, this is taking forever. That's not what we want. Yeah, so one thing that you could add to this is a basic, this looks for just those rules being met. Here, let's see, maybe this one. Yeah, that's clean. So there you go. A very clean break of structure. You've taken out this pivot high. You've made a higher high. You're coming back to test the low right here, this pivot, the D pivot. So like theoretically, you've got a nice fair value gap right in here that they just filled today or yesterday, I guess. So like theoretically, the trade idea, you'd be long somewhere in here. You'd use this low as your stop. You'd be looking for a new high. Now, I don't know if the R's there. Doesn't really matter. But this is the concept that you are after, my friend. Greg. And again, in some cases, you're going to have these conditions that they're being met, but you know, how much of a structure break is this? You've made a new high, you just wicked through it. One could argue on a small time frame, you definitely broke structure, but then on a bigger time frame, maybe you didn't. So, you know, keep these things in the back of your mind. And you can always create your own copy. So these are shared scans that you can utilize. If you wanted to change this in any way, all you have to do, make your own copy. And what you might want to consider, so in this case, we're defining A relative to C, right? That's like half of what we're doing here is we're defining that you made a higher high relative to this C pivot for that structure break. So let me see where the condition is. So here's A greater than C. It's the very first condition in the set of conditions. We're defining the other pivots relative to each other as well, because we want to define that downtrend. We want to define the downtrend and that structure, right? That structure break. So we have to define where the pivots are relative to one another. But I could come in here and I could say A is greater than C. I could click on the 3 dots and say by at least and add a percentage margin. So we could potentially avoid scenarios like this where you did technically make a new high, you have a new pivot high, but maybe it's not as much of a break as you want to see. So Greg, therein lies the problem with this style of trading, is the back testing. In order to back test this, what you would need is you would need continuous levels. These horizontal levels are what we're defining, right? You're defining the location of A, B, C, D, and E. And unfortunately, these are not continuous. When a new pivot prints, you know, let's say that they bounce it here on this particular name and it does that and it does this and it goes and makes a new high. Well, what's going to happen is that this pivot is going to become A, right? This pivot's A right now. Well, this pivot's going to become A. This one will become B and C and D and E, and this pivot will no longer be defined, right? In order to backtest this, you would have to have continuous pivots. You'd have to be able to define these horizontal levels into infinity all the way back. So unfortunately, it's not backtestable at this time. You could, if you had some gumption, you could create a custom indicator. You could have it built. A continuous horizontal levels off of all of these pivots. But right now it doesn't exist. At least it doesn't exist on the platform. The indicators do exist that do this, but we do not have one on the platform at this time, unfortunately. So this idea or these ideas can only be scanned for and alerted on. They cannot be tested. And I'm sorry to deliver that information because I would love to be able to back test a lot of this stuff, but at this point I can't. Ricardo, awesome. Yes, I agree with you, sir. Oh, cool. Yeah, so you got a little community. Sweet. Yeah, feel free. If you've got a community, feel free to sign up for an affiliate account. You'll want to speak to, let me give you this guy. I'm going to just DM you. The handle, the Twitter handle that I just gave you, he is our affiliate manager. So if you want to speak with him, he's your guy. You would like to trade a break, retest, and continuation. So, what you could do, so let me think about this. Break, retest, continuation is potentially a little bit difficult. I mean, you can use this simple uptrend new high, but you're going to... So let's look for a nice clean example. Yeah, so here's a pretty decent clean example. You have your break, you have your retest of D, and a continuation. Here's another really clean example. Right, you broke, made a new high, you pulled back, you retested the lower pivot to some degree, and now they're making a new high. So the break, retest, continuation, what's kind of tricky about that is how do you define it? You know, what are you breaking? Are you breaking a pivot level like this? Are you breaking an indicator? Are you breaking above a particular indicator and then pulling back to that indicator? Are you like, you know, break, retest, continuation? I understand the concept, but need to know a little bit more about what you're defining as the thing that you're breaking. And maybe you might want to define how much it's retesting. You know? So I would use downtrend new low. If you're looking for a new low, this is going to be your go-to. So like this, they broke the previous low. They retested the previous low, failed, and made a new low. Okay, so you're using price action. So this is what I would use. I would use, here's another one, pretty clean. I would use this guy, the simple downtrend new low. And when you're looking at these, if you're interested in using this, read through all of these conditions. Read through these. Spend a little time and read through them to understand what they're all defining. A is greater than B. Your A is greater than your B. Right? B is less than C. So B less than C. B is less than D. All of these things are required to define this consistent downtrend. So make sure that you're understanding what's being written here so that when you go and you create your own, or you go and you iterate on what's here, you have a good understanding of what you need to adjust with what's here. Very important to have a good understanding of what it is you're looking at before you start just changing it. Because like I say, you might see something in here that is close to what you're after, but it's not exactly what you're after. And then you got to start thinking through, well, okay, you have to understand what each condition is defining, right? Well, why not? I mean, the big thing that I always tell people is if you are trying to understand how something works, whatever that something may be, in this case, we're trying to understand how this set of conditions finds this. Read through each one by one and make sure that you have the indicator that is being used. Make sure you have the indicator that's being used on your chart so that when you read through each condition, you know, it very clearly says zigzag A is greater than zigzag B. Like when you open up, let me just go to a parameter here. So zigzag obviously is an indicator. When you go to zigzag, or when you're grabbing indicators out of this list, at least for zigzag here, you're going to have one for each of those pivots, A, B, C, D, and E. So knowing that tells you what we're defining. Each pivot's labeled. So then it's just a matter of reading through it and saying, okay, A is greater than B. A, the pivot A, is greater than the pivot B, right? It's above it, 460 versus 449. And just go down the line. That's going to be the best way. Always, 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 always. If you are not sure about something that you're seeing in a script, a pre-made script, add that indicator to your chart. Always. Add it to your chart. Because just by looking at the indicator, you'll be able to kind of understand. You'll read the individual line, you know, each of these would be an individual like parameter or line of this entire scan that we're looking for. So read the line, get a base understanding of what that line is saying, and then see those conditions occurring on the chart. It's a really, really helpful way if you're having trouble if you're having trouble understanding how an indicator works, another really interesting way of doing it is by utilizing scripts that use that indicator. Again, go up to your visual scripts, type in an indicator, whatever that indicator may be. I don't know. I'm blanking on an indicator here. Stochastic, right? I'm just picking something random. Well, we have stochastic negative, overbought, oversold, positive. So if I don't know anything about stochastic, but I've heard, stochastic's overbought, I can take this set of conditions, I can send them to my scanner. It's a great way to learn, truly a great way to learn. Send them to my scanner. I can very quickly run the scan. All right, so I got a bunch of names coming up, right? I've got a bunch of names that are meeting these conditions, but I don't know anything about what stochastic is. We're just pretending here. Well, I go to my indicators. Actually, let's do it this way. Let's go to Assistant, type in stochastic, add stochastic to your charts. Click on that. So now the stochastic's on my chart, and I'm looking for these conditions to be true. So I got to make sure my chart time frame is correct. So here's a name meeting this criteria, right? Verizon's meeting the criteria. It says stochastic K is greater than 80, stochastic D is greater than 80. I've got my stochastic indicator on the chart, and there's stochastic. They're the two lines, and they're above 80. They're both above 80. All right, if I don't know anything about stochastic, I can still learn about stochastic just by like searching for names that are meeting the criteria that are defined. Does that make sense? Hopefully I explained that well. This is how I go about learning how some indicators work. Because I've had people ask me on this live stream, like, how does this random indicator on the platform work that I literally have no idea about? And so this is the process that I take to learn about it. One of the best ways to learn is to see what it's actually doing, see it on the chart. So now you got all these names that are meeting this stochastic overbought condition. Now I know. Now I know what it looks like. Now I also know kind of what price action looks like to get us into that space, If, while I'm waiting for a response or a question or whatever, if you are tuned in to this right now and you do not subscribe to the TrendSpider YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Please hit us with a subscribe, hit us with a like. Both of these numbers are very important to me personally. The more subscribers we get from these, the more likes we get from these, the more likely I get to keep doing them. So if you're enjoying this live stream, if you are learning literally anything in this live stream, give us a like, give us a subscribe. The subscribe, I believe, allows you to turn on alerts for when I go live. And, I'm still kind of playing with the formula there. I'm pretty stuck on doing them here in the morning, 11 o'clock-ish, 11 Eastern. Let you guys, trade the open and let things kind of chill out, and then we go live. But I went live on Saturday morning. That was pretty fun. If you have some suggestions or some ideas for when it might be better to go live, feel free to hit me up. You guys know my Twitter account. I'm an open book. You can DM me. You can ask me questions about the platform. You can give me suggestions, whatever. But truly, the likes and the follows or the subscribing to the channel, it's very easy to do. It's free. It really helps me a lot. The team likes to see those numbers up and to the right. So overwhelming sometimes how much I still need to learn, but really enjoying the process and focusing. Exactly. Why not? This is the way. That is the attitude to have. We are always in a state of learning. Always. We should always be trying to figure out the next thing. Because all that information, all that knowledge is only going to serve you later in time. So try not to worry too much about the day-to-day. Try and just grow, Try and find where your weaknesses are and work on those weaknesses. Try and learn what you can as often as you can. There's a ton of things that you can learn with some of these very simple prompts. Like I just showed you guys, like you don't have to know how to use an indicator to learn about it, right? We can run scans using it. We can throw it up on our chart. We can, like with this, we could test it. We could very easily test this if we wanted to. Let's do it. Let's see. All right, I could go stochastic overbought. Let's say I want to sell that. So I'll put it in the entry. I'm going to switch my long only to short only. I'm going to go back to visual scripts. I'm going to type in stochastic again, and I'm going to say oversold and send this to my exit. So I'm selling an overbought stochastic. I'm buying an oversold stochastic, right? See how quickly I did that? Like that took, and I know I'm an expert. It's, you know, maybe it's not a reasonable, it's not fair. Or, you know, y'all aren't as far along in understanding the platform as I am, but you saw how easy that was to do. A couple of clicks, and I've already created this strategy and I've run it on this name. So what does this tell me? Should I be selling? Should I be selling stochastic overbought on what name am I on right now? On Caterpillar? No, I shouldn't be. It does not work. Look how terrible these trades go. So this is my performance chart. This is hilariously bad. These are anywhere that's red on this chart is me in a trade that's going against me. That ultimately goes against me. So look how I just ride these trends. Death. This is a terrible strategy on this name. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I have no, this is not something you want to trade. But the fact that I understand that, you know, if you're popping around the internet and you hear somebody say cat is oversold, stochastic RSI is oversold on the daily, I'm going short. Well, you could point to this and go, yeah, that's not going to work out for you, right? My favorite strategy, Greg. I'm not going to say my favorite strategy because strategies are, we're buying and selling because of a reason, right? And strategies can work over time. They can stop working for periods of time. They can work again later. I don't necessarily have a favorite strategy. This one's pretty cool. I can send this one to you. I've shared this around. I'm making a video on how I built it. It's a pretty cool little strategy on Apple. It doesn't utilize any of the indicators that we're looking at here. But what it does do is it beats buy and hold pretty dramatically across time frames and across periods of time. So right now we're testing it across from 2016 to 2020, kind of like the bull market that ran up into COVID before the COVID crash. Works pretty good during that period of time. You can see the strategy versus the asset. This is your strategy. This is the asset over the same period of time. It's a safe strategy. There's no no-go highlighting, so there's a pretty safe strategy to utilize. Even though the win rate's low, the average return and the risk reward are worth the difference. But it works over lots of different periods of time, or it works over like the big periods of time that I've tested it on. It works over the past 4 years, works over that 2016 to 2020 period of time. Here's the past 4 years, works pretty good. Still no-go highlighting. It works even during like the great financial crisis. If we go 2008 to 2012, it even works over that. So this is one that I like. Is it my favorite? I don't know. My favorite way to trade is using price action concepts. So my favorite setup is essentially like what we were just looking at. Like here's an example of a setup that I would be trading if this is a really great example. The way that I like to trade, I like to look for those breaks of structure like we were talking about before. We've clearly broken structure here on Apple. You've taken out the C pivot and the E pivot. You even took out this one. So like a big break of structure. So me personally, where I would be wanting to trade is in here. I'd be looking for a pullback and for this to hold. And the reason why I like this sort of setup personally is because your R on this trade idea is very high. So what you'd be looking for, it's essentially that. This is your risk, right? If they were to reverse this right now and just send this lower over the next couple of days or whatever, the way that this trade would work is you would be buying this retest of D somewhere down in here. You'd be using B as your stop loss, and you'd be looking for a new high, A. So you'd be looking for a gain of A. So your risk is 7-1. Like, that's a crazy R value. This is my favorite way to trade, personally. I'm not saying it's the right way. I'm not saying it's the best way. I'm saying it's my personal favorite way. Why not? You absolutely do. You need, all of the guys that I know that utilize trading bots, like in a, like really, really, they're utilizing a lot of them. They're constantly turning things on and off based off of different market conditions, for sure. So yes, you definitely need different strategies for different seasons of the market, as you say, for different market conditions. Different strategies are going to work at different times. Now you can, like that Apple strategy that I was just playing around with, it's pretty malleable. It actually is. It works across different time frames, and it works across different periods of time. It works in different ways. Some time frames work a little bit better than other time frames, but it does tend to perform pretty well across different periods of time and across different time frames, which I think is a pretty powerful thing. And yes, I agree with you on the assistant comment as well. I would imagine that over time, it's going to get more powerful. Maybe one day it will be able to tell you, best time frame, best ticker to trade XYZ strategy that you have built. I don't know. Greg, what information did I tell you? What do you need from me? We are running into an hour here, which means... Ferreira, good eye. So this is the full time frame continuity indicator. Pretty sweet. For anybody who is a strat trader or ICT, price action, really, I think that this indicator can be helpful regardless of... Oh, Greg, right. Thank you for the reminder. Let me grab it real quick. Give me 1 second, and then Ferreira will talk about this, and then I'll probably get to stepping. Hold on. Greg, are you in our Discord by chance? The TrendSpider Discord? If not, no big deal. There you go. That will link you. It's going to take you to this right here. And then just click login and import, and that strategy will be saved into your account. And then you can play with it as you wish. Can you guys see that? Oh, you can't see that. Oops. Here. There you go. Now you can see. So when you click that link, it'll take you to this page. Click login and import right here. And you'll be off to the races. You can save that strategy as your own. You can mess with it. You can do whatever you want with it. But Ferreira, getting back to your question, and again, we're going to close this thing down after this question. So let me turn off the other indicators. So this is full time frame continuity, and full time frame continuity simply means... So Greg, in order to utilize this, you would have to be a TrendSpider user. You'd have to be you'd have to have an account with us. If you'd like an account with us, hit me up on Twitter And I can hook you up with a really sweet discount. But you'll have to hit me up on Twitter for it. You just have to sign up, Greg. So Ferreira, okay, full time frame continuity. What do we mean when we say full time frame continuity? What we mean is that multiple time frames all have the same thing happening. So if your full time frame continuity up, then the time frames that you define are all green. Maybe it's the 30-minute. On the indicator, the presets on the indicator, you can adjust 3 time frames. So you got the 30-minute, the 60-minute, the 240, so this is the 4-hour. And then by default, hard-coded in the indicator is the daily too. So what we're seeing right now on Apple is essentially that the 30-minute, the 60-minute, the 4-hour, and the daily are all down because the candle is red, right? If the candle were green, then all those time frames would be green. When the candle's gray, then there's a mix. Some of those time frames are red, some of them are green. So full time frame continuity can be used in all kinds of different ways. It can be used as a means to, or you can use it with a lot of different indicators, right? Because it's kind of like a trend indicator. It's kind of like a momentum indicator. It kind of does a bit of both. So if you're green, the candle's green, then you're green on all the time frames that you have defined. If the candle's red, then you're red on all the time frames that you have defined. If the candle's gray, it's a mix. So in theory, the idea would be that if you are in full time frame continuity down, you want to be looking for short opportunities. If you're in full time frame continuity up, you want to be looking for long opportunities. That's the general idea. And we have not launched this indicator publicly yet, but it will be public very soon. Will be public very soon. Probably in the next, I don't know, next couple of days, maybe. We're building out all of the stuff. I just finished writing a blog post about it. I'm going to make a little video about it as well, just so that everybody can kind of understand how it works and different ways that you can utilize it. The ways that I was showing, let's add fair value gap here. So this one's kind of interesting, if you're, I guess it's not the greatest example in the world, but if you're retesting a fair value gap from below and you start seeing a change in that full time frame continuity upon that retest, it's not super clear here. I would have to kind of hunt around for different charts. Let me see if I can actually pull up the ones that I made. Hold on one sec. Because there are some good examples. So here's one. So can you see that? Yeah, you can. So in this particular instance, you've got a EMA. Price breaks through the EMA. You go full time frame continuity up. It stays full time frame continuity even on the retest of the EMA. So this would give you a little bit more conviction that price is going to hold that EMA after it broke above it. Right? So it holds, you stay full time frame continuity up, and then you make a new high. Pretty cool. That's one. Let me see what else I can find. Stratters use this in tandem with strat patterns. Right? So here we're full time frame continuity up. There are times when it goes sideways. There are times when there is a mix, but we never get a red candle. Right? We never get full time frame continuity down. So we're staying full time frame continuity up. And then you have this strat pattern, a 3-1-2 down. So you have a outside candle, inside candle that breaks down. Your 2 down goes red, full time frame continuity down. Right? So you have a double signal here. You have the 2 down. So you have the completion of that reversal pattern at the high. And you have full time frame continuity flip from up to down. Right? So it's just additional weighting to your whatever your current strategy is that you're using, whether it's you're looking at a moving average or you're looking at a fair value gap. I'll show you another one real quick. I think this one's the fair value gap one. Here's another one. So you have full time frame continuity up. You create a fair value gap during that full time frame continuity up. They come back in, they fill the fair value gap. We never lost continuity. We never had a continuity flip from bullish to bearish. We went sideways a little bit, but we never really lost it. Well, they come in, they fill the fair value gap perfectly, and then they continue. So these are just 3 simple examples, 3 different ways that you can utilize this full time frame continuity up or down. And again, like I said, I'm going to make a video about this over the next couple of weeks, and you can spend some time with it when it's ready. And then just keep an eye on us, you know, keep an eye on our TrendSpider Twitter handle. We'll definitely be promoting that very soon. And this indicator obviously is going to be available for everybody. Actually, I may be able to. Well, you'll just get it. You'll get it in a couple of days when it's live. So, y'all, last call for questions. We are past the hour point. It's time for me to continue on and get some more things done with my day. But if there are any other questions here, please ask them now. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We'll be live again, or I will be live again Friday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. Why not? Have a great day yourself as well. Any last minute questions from anybody? If not, no pressure. Just want to make sure that we're covered here. Everybody feels like they got what they were looking for out of this thing. We good? Everybody good? 2 thumbs up. Ricardo, you're good? Right back at you, Ricardo. All right, we're going to cut it here. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Really appreciate y'all being here with me today. It's great to see some friends. Great to meet some new folks. Greg, you're a new one to the stream, so thank you for being here. Freya, great to see you. Why not? Great to see you. Ricardo, great to meet you. Jamel, I never saw. Hold on one second, Jamel. The Nightbot got you for spamming. Don't take any offense to it. Jamel, thanks for being here. If you're still here, Marvin, glad you're loving TrendSpider. Thank you for being here. Who else? Faisal, thank you for being here. Did we miss anybody? Titan, SDW, Systems Pro, Nels, Chewy. Shout out everybody who showed up today. Appreciate y'all. Holler if you need me. And like I said, I'll be back Friday morning, hanging out again. So get your questions together, and then we'll do this again on Friday. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.